हाय सानिया,
हाय औरिक।
हाउ आर यू डूइंग?
बढ़िया, तुम बताओ।
बस चल रहा है यार, लाइफ में ना बस
चल ही रही है बस। कट ही रही है जिंदगी।
कट ही रही है एंड काफी दिनों बाद मिले हैं, सो आई जस्ट वांट टू आस्क यू
Yes.
व्हाट्स हैपनिंग इन लाइफ। डेट्स वेट्स पे जा रहे हो, डिसअपॉइंट हो रहे हो या बढ़िया चल रहा है?
यार बस डेट्स का दूसरा नाम डिसअपॉइंटमेंट ही होना चाहिए नहीं, क्योंकि कुछ मिल नहीं रहा एट दिस पॉइंट। आई एम लिटरली टेलिंग माय फ्रेंड्स, आई एम लाइक दिस इज फॉर माय कैरेक्टर डेवलपमेंट, ठीक है। इससे कोई मिलने नहीं वाला है, बट आई एम गेनिंग पेशेंस, आई एम बिकमिंग अ बेटर ह्यूमन बीइंग, आई एम लर्निंग लाइफ लेसन्स। दिस इज व्हाट डेट्स आर फॉर, ठीक है।
ओके,
So वही चल रहा है।
so can you tell me a recent dating story that you want to
Oh
say
my god,
disappointed you or
I
not?
thought you were going to go first.
No, I can always go.
नहीं I
But
was
मेरे तो frequency भी कम है ना बेचारा, मेरे को ज्यादा dates मिलते भी नहीं है, but
नहीं यार ठीक है। So I think recently I went on 2 dates. So a very interesting story. Okay. So I was in Blue Tokai, ठीक है, last week, and I have never done this before. I am kind of low key and ambivert, and when I say ambivert, it's selectively extrovert, ठीक है. And by selectively extrovert, I mean कि मैं खाली अपने दोस्तों से and with my people, I'm like very open, but I won't go and talk to random strangers, right? So that is not who I am. I like actually appreciate extroverts who can do that. But anyway. So my friends had come down. I think I told you about this. My friends were going to come. I obviously told you about this. So we were chilling and we were roaming about. So we were in Khan Market. I think I'm giving too much information.
It's okay. You should not tell your whereabouts to random people.
No, but I was right. I was. I'm not there anymore. But anyway, we went to Blue Tokai and I saw. All of us saw like an extremely good looking guy. Okay. Extremely. Like he could literally be a model. You would be like, oh my god. And everybody was like, okay, this person is very cute. And then I was kind of like, I forgot to order coffee. I was literally at the billing counter and I'm like, all of my friends are obviously girlfriends. All of them are like, I'm like, look at him, he's cute, right? I'm not, like, it is not me, he is actually cute. And they were like, yeah, he is. And then I was literally there and we were talking about it and I was literally just staring at him low-key and, okay, this person is cute. And then my friends, all of a sudden, they started like hyping me up, ki ja ke approach kar, take his number, ask for his number. I'm like, what are you talking about? I've never done that before, okay? So then they were like, all kinds of, they were hyping me bahut zyada. And then I was like, nahi, this is very weird. This is very weird. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Certainly, I'm not doing this. But anyway, we got a table, which was like 2 tables away from this person. And वो अकेले ही आया था, ठीक है? So, and he was talking to the restaurant people and all of that. So, it seemed like he knew them. But anyway, we were sitting 2 tables away. And I think at that point, everyone in the cafe knew that I wanted to talk to this person because my girlfriends were literally hyping me up and I was like, okay, should I not? But I can't. This is very weird. What if he says no? What if I'm bothering? And I don't ever want to like bother people. That is my thing. I the moment I'll be like, yeah, nahi, I'm bothering this person.
I don't think guys would ever mind getting bothered by you or any other woman for that matter.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that to me because I was like, what if he thinks, oh, what is this, right? Anyway, so I finally, after them hyping me up for like 15-20 minutes straight, I was like, okay, let me just do this, okay? What do I have to lose?
Okay.
So I went up to his table. I'm like, okay. I just was like, hey, is it possible for me to get your number? And I'm Sanya, by the way. And he's like, I think he was a little bit like surprised, taken aback, but he's like, yeah, sure. And then I gave him my phone and I'm like, yeah, you can just put in your digits there. And he entered the number and I was like, okay, man, what is your name? And he's like, yeah, whatever his name was. Not revealing that information. But imagine me going on a date with a guy named Manoj. Sorry, all the Manojs out there.
Oh my god.
I did not want to attack you like that, but I feel sorry for you. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
There are other names also, but okay.
Anyway.
Manoj, you're a good guy, buddy.
Seems like a very good guy, you know, husband material. Maybe that is why I'm not attracted to Manoj.
हम में flow है, तुम में नहीं.
As always, obviously.
Yes.
I am not. We are not the problem. Okay, that has been established at this point. Anyway, So I was obviously not going to do anything with this number. I was like, okay, this was a good experience. I would have never done this, but I'm proud of myself for having the courage to
Yeah.
do this, right?
Then what happened?
Then this guy texted me after like maybe a couple of days. He's like, hey, and then I'm like, okay, and then we talked on call, I think 1 or 2 times, and then he asked me out on a date, and we went out. He was okay. Please, all of the men who are listening to this, chivalry is not dead, and please, if it is, we need to revive it, because oh my god, the little things matter, right? Like it is called the sidewalk rule. I don't know if you know about it or not. So basically, when you are walking on a traffic
So you
Valley road, so
you walk on the outside to protect.
yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
called the sidewalk rule.
Yeah.
So those are very small things. They literally take a few seconds and they don't even cost any money. And that is like those little things matter to us, right?
Okay.
And I had like this laptop bag because I was like working.
Mhm.
So I was like, is it cool if I work and then we can go out for dinner? It's like, oh, cool. So I had a little laptop bag, and he immediately, I did not even have to ask for it. He literally took the bag from my hand. He's like, let me hold it for
Yeah.
you. And I'm like, okay. So small things like that
Yeah.
matter, right? And then, okay, this is another topic जो हम कभी और छेड़ेंगे, but like the who pays for the first date thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So maybe if it turns into something, I will split or whatever.
I have a date story on this topic now, but yeah.
Yeah, so see, इसमें भी 2 तरीके के लोग होते हैं. There are some people who will, you know, जो जताने वाली बात हो जाती है कि they'll make you feel like they are paying, and then there are some people who would make it so effortless कि you would not even know that they have paid for it, but they would pay for it. And again, for the first date, it's a sweet gesture, right? So the date was very good, but I don't think me and him were on the same frequency level, so it did not work out, but it was a good date. I would say that he was chivalrous, so 100 points for that. So yeah, that was one of my date stories. I have a like
But what
horrifying.
was wrong here? I don't understand, because he just didn't walk on the side.
नहीं
Then-
सब कुछ सही था. आई एम सेइंग कि यार उसकी और मेरी फ्रीक्वेंसी मैच उतनी नहीं थी. Like mentally, I don't think we were on the same plane at all. He seemed like a nice guy, but I don't think it would have worked out between me and him. So I have my reasons.
Who was on the higher frequency? You, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he could come up to that, but it's fine. I wish him all the best.
But
I have a horrifying story too, but I want to listen to what happened with you.
yeah, but before that, I'd like to say, ये तो है ना, मतलब a friend of mine very recently told me, और you should like join the gym. I think क्या करूँगा gym join करके, right? So like तेरे को dates अच्छी मिलेंगी, ऐसे अच्छा dates ऐसे मिलेंगी. And for most of my life, अब तो ठीक है, लड़के evolve हो गए हैं and they put in an effort to actually learn about the world and be nice also. But अब आज से 10-15 साल पहले, right? When I was let's say 15 years old, whatever. So तब लगता था कि अगर body बनाऊंगा ना, I'll fall into that stereotype कि बुद्धि नहीं है.
Right.
Right?
I know.
So-
in fact, he fell into that stereotype. I'm so sad to say. I was like, okay, so just so that I can look at him, because he was very easy to obviously look at, very,
Yeah.
very, very good
Yeah.
looking. But I was like, why did you have to fall into that stereotype? कि यार अगर दिखते अच्छे हैं तो दिमाग नहीं. I would rather have someone who has like wit and all of that, because those characteristics are way more appealing to me than the person looking good.
Right.
Okay, so I am not modeling scout. I actually at one point would not care how good you look, but anyway.
Yeah, interesting.
Hmm.
So yeah, I actually did something. I traveled to Kolkata for a date.
Oh
From
my
Delhi.
god! Oh my god! And ladies who are listening to this is what putting in efforts looks like. So if,
No. So okay, on the chivalry bit. So how that happened was, I anyways had some work planned for Kolkata, but unfortunately or fortunately, my trip got cancelled, and then I matched with this woman. ठीक है? So I'm like, ठीक है, अच्छा हुआ कि by chance अगर कुछ बढ़ता है तो I will be able to go meet her in Kolkata. तो ठीक है, बात कर लेते हैं. बात करते करते महीना 1.5 महीना हो गया, and then she's like, यार
also you were in the talking stage for
talking
like 1
stage था,
minute.
हाँ,
ठीक है,
वो
makes
था,
sense.
वीडियो कॉल हो गया 2 बार, all of that happened, right?
Fine.
So I was like, ठीक है. So one fine day, she just called me on a video call, and she's like, you are not coming to Kolkata. What happened? You said you will come. I said, हाँ आ रहा हूँ. So she's like, एक काम करो, if you can't come, I'll come. I said, "नहीं, chivalry is not dead. So I will definitely come."
See, this is what we want. यार flight लेके तो कोई भी कहीं भी जा सकता है. Both are excellent cities, right?
So I
Delhi and
also told her
Kolkata.
that, look, I will come, I will do this for you because I don't want you to feel कि काम के लिए आया था, फिर मेरे को क्या कहता है, ऐसा by product मिल गया, right?
Right.
So that's what I did not want to do. So I said, I'll specifically come for you. So within 24 hours of her saying that, I landed in Kolkata.
Oh my god! See, this is what I'm talking about. Chivalry exists.
But wait,
Ladies, don't settle for
but
less.
wait, there's a twist.
Like always, it's our lives, right? So there has to be a twist.
So I meet her at this cafe. Shout out to that cafe, Craft Coffee. Amazing.
I have plans to go to Kolkata, by the way, so I might visit. Give me your recommendation.
I will. So yeah, so I met her there. So we met for coffee and then we spoke for a while and then I was like, do you like doing hookah? She's like, I love it. And she high-fived me and like, chalo theek hai, hookah peene chalte hain.
Okay.
Like, theek hai. So that coffee meet became an extended evening dinner kind of a scene. So I brought in my friends. I introduced her to my friends as well in Kolkata. Ki bhai mil lo, dekho ye sacha insaan hai. Also, the reason why the reason why I want to mention here, the reason why I went to Kolkata in the first place is because I told her, look, I am a random human on the internet for you right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because things can't get real unless and until you meet, right? So I was like, theek hai, chalo jaake milte hain. So I told her that, so that's why I wanted to introduce my friends also to her. Ki dekho, I have connections and all of that, right? So in the whole process of talking and sab kuch badhiya chal raha tha, she said, would you like to watch a movie? I said, yeah, all right. So she booked the tickets for that movie.
Which movie? Please tell everybody which movie this was. We need to know.
Okay, all right. Nothing against the movie because I've not seen the first part. I like Ayushmann, but it was Dream Girl 2.
Oh my god, I would never.
उसकी request है. And I'm not judging movie, अच्छी भी हो सकती है यार.
नहीं अच्छी होगी यार. Just I would.
For
never.
the longest time I judged that movie. क्या नाम था उसका? बरेली की बर्फी. I watched 4 years after that movie launched and I now love that movie.
नहीं. Also, like jokes apart, Ayushmann is an amazing actor, so no judgments there.
But anyway, so she booked the tickets, all right. So next day, this is on a Saturday we meet. On the Sunday, क्या कहते हैं, she says कि movie देखने चलेंगे. Book करा लिया उन्होंने ticket. And then 3 hours.
Oh my god! I love this newfound respect that you have. उन्होंने.
क्योंकि अभी respect जाने वाली है शायद.
Just wait a couple of more minutes, but हाँ.
So she said 3 hours before the movie, I asked her, hey, I'll come pick you up. And my friends are like shocked. कि भाई तू this part of the city से उस part जा रहा है देखने से.
Which part to which part? Like I know a little bit of.
So my friend was living in the Central Park. उसका Park Street के पास घर है.
Okay, right.
And this was क्या कहते हैं बालीगंज
side.
और आगे. South एकदम
right?
South हाँ काफी आगे. इनफैक्ट जादवपुर यूनिवर्सिटी के पास.
Oh my god, okay.
Right?
That's far off.
चल रहा था. Anyways वो part. So anyways तो मैंने तो बोला कि यार तू बात कर रहा है दूर जाने की. मैंने तो टिकट भी उसके घर के पास वाले मॉल में करवा लिया. मतलब उसको बोला कि वहीं आ जाऊंगा, which is fine. So my friend also is great. He give me his car.
तो मैं वही सोच रही थी क्या.
नहीं वो कोई बात नहीं. So then she messages me 3 hours before the movie कि look Auric, I think I can't go ahead with this. These are my personal reasons and you know.
What? Then why did she book the movie tickets?
I don't know. Movie tickets थोड़ा बुलाया क्यों in the first place वो चलो कोई बात नहीं. मैं भी गया तो मैं भी गया मेरा भी मन था.
मिल के पता लगा.
मेरा भी मन था.
Maybe the dinner thing has already happened at this point.
हाँ तो I think she changed her mind between dinner and the movie.
Right.
I don't know what happened. But this is so which is fine. So I said I understand, which is fine. You can please do whatever you want, and I respect your choices. I don't want to force somebody कि भाई please मिल लो वो कर लो मतलब.
नहीं obviously no.
Why would you do that?
Never works. That never works.
But then an hour later, a message comes, and because I had traveled for her to Kolkata, she's like, I am paying for all the क्या कहते हैं first date thing, ठीक है?
So makes sense यार. Somebody has taken the.
So she paid. She paid for the coffee. She paid for the coffee. I paid for the hookah thingy. Hookah dinner thingy.
Makes sense.
And she booked the tickets for. Then she messages me कि Auric, this was the kharcha for the coffee. This is the kharcha for the movie. Can you pay me half of it?
Oh my god! No! This is so bad. So I have no words. But usually इसमें क्या होता है? So I had a long distance thing, right? So I used to, at that point I was not in Delhi. The guy was in Delhi. I was in Raipur. So I used to take flights to come meet him. So ऐसा ही था कि the person who is literally taking a flight to come see you, and obviously they are not like cheap, right? So if I'm taking out flights to meet you, I'll obviously book an Airbnb and all of that, right? So मैं उतना सब when I am doing it, so food and all ka the other person can pay, right? Because that's just simple. Okay, you did this for me, I'll just take care of this. So I think, ठीक है, I don't know. I think we should Google it. What is the female word for chivalry? But whatever it is.
No, being a lady. But
Right.
okay, so I
Being
have
a decent human being, I don't know.
no. So, but I also tell a lot of people. In fact, I'll tell you this
Hmm.
also, because you are expecting chivalry so much.
Hmm.
I want to tell you one thing. Are you also going to act
Same.
ladylike?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Okay. And yeah, I think ladylike, the term would be a little bit. I don't know. Maybe some people take it the wrong way. Are you trying to understand? So basically, what I'm trying to say is कि कुछ लोग ना उसको कॉन्जर्वेटिव उसमें लेके चले जाते हैं कि लेडी लाइक मीनिंग हो सकता है कि आई डोंट हैव टू एक्ट लाइक दिस या शी हैज टू एक्ट अ पर्टिकुलर वे आई डोंट वांट टू be saying that. What I want to be saying is कि I don't know, behave decently. I don't know.
No. So the thing is that
Literally the female
Okay,
word
so
for chivalry.
so let's understand. Chivalry also comes from the colonial British क्या कहते हैं thing, right? So
Right.
Shakespearean era and before that and after that and all of that, right?
Mhm.
So this is what I say. So
I am actually going to Google
Yeah, yeah.
what the female word for chivalry
Okay,
is. I need
while
to.
you do that, so I want to tell you that
Yeah,
there is a
go
certain
on.
way a man is expected to behave, right? So
Mhm.
क्या कहते हैं, there were rules for ladies as well, right? That you would knit and you would do this and you would be poised and you would fold your hands this way and all of that, right? But this is what I want to say. In the 21st century or 22nd century or whatever, where we were, it is the 22nd, right? Yeah.
Oh my god.
So in the
Okay, so it says literally a graceful woman. Okay,
graceful
let's use that
all
word.
right, a graceful woman, right? But try to understand, in whatever day and age in 2023 that we're living in, I think those standards should also be changed. If a guy
Yeah.
is not opening the doors for you, there is nothing wrong, because there are some women who want feminism also. कि भाई मैं खुद का उठा
Yeah,
लूंगी, मैं कर
see.
लूंगी.
एक second, यहीं पे. All of the people, at least all of my female friends and people that I have talked to, feminism के नाम पे people are literally killing chivalry. ठीक है? Just feminism is something different, and I never want to touch on the topic of feminism because people bring on so much hate just if when and they hear the word. But feminism का पूरा whole thing is about equality. ठीक है? Feminists or whatever the word is, they don't hate men. All we are in general are that we are trying to do is asking for equality, because as you know, शुरू से लेके अब तक we have fought literally a long kind of, I don't want to say battle, but it was a battle, right? Women did not have a lot of rights that we have right now, even in the previous century, even when we were given that rights, but because of the social stigma or the taboos, बहुत सारी चीजें नहीं होती थी. For example, most of our like हमारी just previous generation, our mom and dads, right? So our moms, even though they had good education, but most of them chose to be homemakers, and again, nothing wrong with that, right? But I know personally many women in my life, in other people's lives, who wanted to pursue career goals, but they were asked by family not to, because they were like, you know what, you have all of this education, which is fine. We allowed you to study and go to a good university, but now you're supposed to take care of the home. So again, even that was existing up until the 90s. It's just now, in the past maybe 8 to 10 years, where it was like, yeah, women work outside, men work outside, it's all the same, right? So literally we have fought that, and all we are asking here is equality. So that is what feminism is about. Now आजकल लोग क्या करते हैं ना, chivalry के मतलब feminism के नाम पे, they're like, you asked for equality, or you asked for this, you asked for more power, we have given this power to you. But now why do you want me to open the door for you? You can do it, right? I'm like, we can conquer the world, literally.
So that's the whole point. Let's not call it even chivalry. Just call it nice gestures that a human can do for other human. Right?
Yeah, okay, let's just call it that. Maybe let's make it gender, not gender specific.
Because
right?
while I am a very chivalrous guy, but I also think that it is the wrong connotation, because then you want to subject the woman to also those standards, right? That you will not partake in certain things, you will behave a certain way.
Right. No, that is not what. So basically, yeah. Okay, that is kind of like a moral dilemma, I think,
Yes.
which I am also having right this moment. See, we want men to be chivalrous. It's not like we can't open doors, we can't pay for stuff. We can do all of that. It just feels nice to be taken care of. And I know men want the same thing. Obviously, everybody wants to feel loved.
Yeah.
But there are different aspects, right? Maybe, I don't know. In fact, that could lead me to a follow-up question. So, for example, as women, we like these small gestures because they make us feel loved and they make us feel taken care of, which is like, I can take care of myself, and I have been doing that. But I would like someone else also to care for me, right? So ये chivalry वाले word में यार, if somebody opens the door for me, somebody does nice sweet gestures for me, I'll feel more loved, basically, right? So that is why we are very happy when someone does this for us. But so my follow-up question, as a man, what is something that you would want कि यार, if the woman does this for me, I would feel loved, I would feel taken care of?
Well, again, I can't speak for all men because I'm a little weirder one out there. I care about
Yeah, so
other
maybe
things.
you can give your opinion.
But
That's
from my perspective, I think all we care about is that, you know, so for example, you said that you went out and you asked the guy, right? There is no harm in actually communicating your feelings to a guy, right? Don't be very traditional कि भाई लड़कियां बहुत चुप रहती है, लड़कियां पहले नहीं आस्क आउट करेंगी, या let the guy figure things out. I think that is one bit, right? This is a personal problem also which I had in one of my relationships. I wanted to call it a toxic one, but then
no, that is another. Let's not call it.
But
relationship that did not work.
Yeah, so in that relationship, it was like, तुम्हें क्यों नहीं पता, तुम्हें पता होना चाहिए था, right? अरे पता होना चाहिए is one thing, but तुम फिर भी बता तो सकते हो ना.
That is where healthy communication comes.
So now what I've done is I'm the opposite now. So in any kind of relationship, even though I know what the person wants, I will still ask for feedback. I will ask, are you okay? Do you need something? Because I want the other person to speak out and say what they want. And sometimes it's okay to change your mind as well, right?
Right.
So
absolutely.
I am like, please speak your mind. I think the one thing that guys would appreciate a lot, and I don't know, in the comments people can write about it or write to us on our social media handles, that if they agree with this, I think guys care most about if the girl is very clear in her communication, what she wants or what she does not want.
Right.
Don't have a man guess, because some people don't have evolved minds to go that far to understand what woman wants, and some people actually don't have that intention also to figure out कि लड़की को क्या चाहिए, because most men anyways are self-centered also. हमें लड़की से ये मिल गया तो काफी है.
Yeah, right. They are for sure.
So,
but हाँ, मतलब ठीक है, that is a bit on healthy communication, and I think we definitely need that, because मेरी भी यही requirement होती है, and usually with men, what I have experienced or what I have seen, and I don't want to generalize, but this is a general वो कि I think society से इतने time से men have been told you're not supposed to express your feelings, you're not supposed to say things out loud. So I think sometimes men tend to keep their emotions like अपने दिल के अंदर रखते हैं, and they don't express that well.
But उसी का opposite मेरे साथ problem है.
Okay.
You have told me this. Another woman that I went on a date told me this, and now I tell it myself to another woman. I sometimes come off as too strong. Right?
That is your specific personality.
Because I'm a very expressive person. Right. I'm also a very like say I have a very strong emotional bandwidth also, right? So whatever I'm feeling, I want to communicate. I don't want to show what I'm feeling, but I just want to tell you how I'm feeling so that you know. And you can embrace yourself, or brace yourself कि भाई ये आने वाला है, ये नहीं आने वाला है.
Right.
While a lot of women also want all of these things, they actually are not ready for this. I've realized. Like for example, women will write things on their social media, on their dating apps. I need honesty and I need communication. I am somebody who gives utter honesty and utter like supreme communication. And when I do that, women get क्या कहते हैं?
It does come
out of their
little strong. That is I think another thing. But do you want to listen to the horrifying experience that I had? ये तो बहुत ही like अच्छी decent date at least थी. Okay, so this guy, ठीक है? I met him through like that matrimony thing or whatever.
Which is also a pseudo dating site only.
हाँ, अब वो dating site ही होगा. So I think it does not even matter. Like you met this girl through Bumble, and you still had the same seriousness. So कई लोगों के even matrimony apps पे आके भी same seriousness. So I think it does not really matter. The platform does not matter, right? So anyway, I met this guy through an app, through a matrimony app, and यार वहाँ पे क्या होता है, as you would also know, कि सारी profiles और सारा biodata दिया हुआ होता है, right? So you know the person's career and all of that, you already know. So what I try to figure out is when I am scheduling a meeting, and I call it a meeting, okay? I never call it a date, because I'm like, it has to feel like a date for me to call it a date, right? So it is a meeting anyway. So I talked to this person once on the phone, and there was some kind of vibe match. So I was like, I think he asked if you are ever in, for example, I think he stays in Gurgaon. So he's like, if you ever come down to Gurgaon, we can meet. I'm like, यार मैं तो ऑफिस के लिए जाती हूँ तो I am pretty tired. After that, I just want to come back home. So let's meet somewhere else. So we decided कि चलो ठीक है CP में मिलते हैं. But anyway, we scheduled this meeting. And the guy, just an FYI, so he had a very impressive resume, work resume. ठीक है. This guy had literally attached a work resume to his biodata or whatever it was. Like, this is my work resume. I worked at like really amazing software companies, Google and whatnot, ठीक है, and excellent developer, ठीक है, and obviously earning like crazy, and which is good for him, happy for him, right? Good. So ये सब मुझे already पता है. जब मैं तुमसे मिलने आई हूँ, I want to know who you are as a person, because when we are going to stay together, how good you code does not mean anything to me, ठीक है? I am not your employer, I am not your HR, I don't care how well you code, ठीक है? Or what you are getting, the money that you are getting out of this, right? So also that is something to do with who I am. I'm like, मेरे पास जितना है मैं उसमें खुश हूँ, right? I would never marry for money because that is not who I am. Because I don't feel that is the right way to go anyway. I think that is a separate topic altogether. But I'll just continue about this meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Let me again not call it a date. I was about to, but then I corrected myself. Not at all a date. So we met, and first of all, he was a little bit awkward, which is fine.
Okay.
Some guys are a little awkward when they are meeting a person, like a stranger, basically for the first time. But when he started talking, I literally wanted to almost punch him in the face.
Why?
For the entire because I sat there for 2 hours. Listening to this guy talk about how much money he earns,
oh my God,
and how rich he is,
oh my God,
and the lifestyle that he can afford, and I don't know, the car, he apparently has an amazing car, quote unquote, and I'm like, I don't care, okay? So anyway, so he was literally bragging for 2 hours straight. He was literally showing off his money, right? And I was immediately put off because that is who I am. I'm like, see, you can have money and you can have class.
Yeah.
And if you have money, there is a classy way. There should be some class that goes with it, right? But this guy literally had zero class. He had money. वो तो मुझे पता चल ही गया था यार, because nobody is that stupid. I literally felt like he was selling himself to me on the basis of how his money and how amazing his career is. And for a moment, I was like, wait, am I having an identity crisis? I was like, am I in HR? Are we in a business interview? What is happening? It felt like I was interviewing him for a position. Okay? And I was so pissed off by the end of it. I'm like, I cannot spend a minute more here listening to this guy brag about money. Now comes the interesting part. अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ है. ठीक है? The end of the day, right? This is the meeting. ठीक है? The first meeting, which, like I said, for the lack of a better word, let's say chivalrous. ठीक है? That is just a sweet thing that I'm like, ठीक है यार, you can pay. And this guy, mind you, bragged 2 hours about how much money he earns, at the end of the date, he's like, okay, so this is your share. I'm like, cool, I'll pay you my share because मेरे पैसे से तो तू बहुत ज़्यादा और अमीर बन जाए यार, तू ये ले ले. Again, he did not ask for anything wrong, right? Yeah. It was my share and I'm supposed to pay for it. I would have happily done so also if he would not have bragged about literally how much money he earned for like 2 hours straight. I'm like, wow, cool. You earn so much money and you're so literally that is the only thing you can talk about, and now you obviously also need me to pay my share. So cool. No worries.
Interesting.
Very interesting. I'm like,
but I have something that I want to talk about, touch here, but then maybe we'll do a larger expectation and relationship kind of a thing also when we talk about money. I think money is a major part of contention for a lot of people, right? Like, everybody wants good-looking people as partners. नहीं भी मिलता है तो money is one thing that a lot of people care about. Right?
Yeah, they do.
More so than looks and some other things, right? Especially in your matrimony scenario, तो parents क्या देखते हैं, caste, religion अगर same है, उसके बाद क्या कहते हैं, दिखता कैसा, कमाता क्या है और क्या करता है, right? Nobody gives a shit about
the kind of human being that you are. Right.
बेटी को प्यार से रखेगा नहीं रखेगा, and all of those things.
Cares. Right? Like, money will take care of it. And I'm
so
like,
on the money, but on the money bit also, see, because a lot of people want that, I have this theory. It's a very unpopular opinion that you know, when women want a guy with money, right? Try to understand, money brings power, money brings ego as well, right?
Yes.
Now, what will
Yes.
also happen, because, and this is what I say, I have a compatibility checklist, out of which one of the points
Right. Yeah.
one of the points is financial prudence, right? It is not about कि लड़का अगर 3 लाख कमा रहा है, लड़की 1.5 लाख कमा रही है, so there is a gap, तो वो compatible नहीं है. या लड़का 5 लाख कमा रहा है, लड़की 1.5 लाख कमा रही है, 2 लाख कमा रही है. It is not about the gap. It's about what you do with that money, right?
Yeah.
For example, the girl, let's say, is earning 2 lakh rupees and the guy is earning 10 lakh rupees, right? You have to understand कि वो 10 लाख रुपए वो जहाँ spend करता है, do you agree with that, right? What is he doing with that money also?
I think that is a very, very good topic that I think we can definitely touch upon separately, because I think that is something that needs to be talked about also.
And on top of that, one last point is that वो कितना कमाता है is one bit, but if you are marrying him for money, try to understand. A guy who has money and is very क्या कहते हैं, egotistical about it.
Yes.
When you start to annoy him, or you get older, or let's say not as pretty as you are today, he's going to replace you with that money.
Yes, exactly. With a younger, hotter version of you. That is what I am saying, right? And also, this guy kind of maybe made it almost evident कि, you know, looks matter to me.
Yeah.
Which is like, hello, समझ आ रहा है मेरे को. Which is why you right swiped on this profile, and he was kind of like open about it.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever works for you, because yeah. So like you said, I totally agree. Which is why matlab, me as a person, I'm totally against marrying for money. I don't understand the concept. Like, I totally agree with what you said there. If he's or marrying for looks, because if someone is marrying you for looks, they can, again, if looks are important, but if they are that important to someone, then there is a high chance they might replace you later down the line with someone younger, hotter, whatever version of you. So I'm like, I for one, and I would recommend this to people as well, I for one go looking, or I in general look for people or appreciate people who want to know who you are as a person, who you are as a human being, your core values, what are they? Those are what would matter to me, not your money, not your looks. All of those things can come and go, right? None of that is going to actually stay, but what is going to stay, according to me, is who you are as a person. Your heart matters to me. So I think that is how it actually should be. I know we don't live in like an ideal world, but I for one, I am that person. But yeah.
I wanted to say something, but because this is a public platform, I will not say. But smart listeners would understand.
Now
but anyway, so the point is that I have a story to exact this point. So I went on a date with this woman. She's a corporate lawyer, works at one of the top law firms in the country, earns a shit ton of money already, and she's like, "आज से 3 साल बाद तो मैं I will earn way more than this."
Yeah.
Right?
Corporate lawyers do. But
so she's like, मेरे को क्या चाहिए? I want a guy who क्या कहते हैं, loves me, takes care of me. बाकी पैसे तो मैं कमा लूंगी, मेरे को कोई problem नहीं है, right?
Right.
The only reason why I think I tanked that date, and it's me being stupid, I think because she was sorted कि भाई पैसा नहीं चाहिए, पैसा is one shit, और मेरे को प्यार वाला loving person चाहिए.
Yeah.
तो उसने मुझसे पूछा, तुम्हें कितने बच्चे चाहिए?
Oh damn! Was this the first date?
This was first or second date, right?
Okay.
Generally asking. So
too soon, people. Too soon.
यार, some people do date from that perspective also. कि I don't want to waste my time if
right. Okay.
some things don't align. वो बाद में जाके थोड़ा discuss करेंगे.
मतलब if it was a second date, maybe it was fine.
Whatever. So generally something came up. So anyway, so the thing is, at that moment I realized. मैं पहले बता दूं कि मैं क्या सोचता हूँ. जैसे कोई मुझसे
I will let you speak.
नहीं. तो जैसे कोई मुझसे पूछता है कि और एक कितने बच्चे चाहिए, तुझे क्या चाहिए, आई टेल देम मुझे क्या पता भाई, मेरे को मेरे पार्टनर से भी तो डिस्कस करना पड़ेगा. मैं थोड़ा डिसाइड करूंगा मेरे को 2 चाहिए तो उसको भी 2 चाहिए ही है, राइट? मेरे को 0 चाहिए तो उसको क्या कहते हैं 1 चाहिए, तो हम वी कांट बी ऑन द सेम पेज बिफोर वी डिस्कस अबाउट इट, राइट?
नहीं बट ठीक है यार, सबके अपने गोल्स होते हैं, राइट? सो उस हिसाब से यू शुड हैव योर ओन गोल in mind, and when you are with your partner, when you
I told her so this is what I believe in कि भाई डिस्कस करके कर लेंगे. अगर बच्चा चाहिए, like a lot of women tell me कि भाई मुझे तो बच्चे चाहिए. I asked them the first reason, क्यों चाहिए? like बच्चे अच्छे लगते हैं, खेलने के लिए अच्छे होते हैं. I said मैं क्रैश खोल देता हूँ, हर 6 महीने में नई फसल आएगी, ठीक है? So the way that you're laughing, a lot of women laugh like that. Some women get offended.
Yeah, I was about to say this could be low-key offensive.
Some women get offended, and there was this one woman who said ये बहुत अच्छा आइडिया और एटलीस्ट पैसे भी आ जाएंगे.
Smart woman.
Smart woman, very
I would want to high five, virtually high fiving this woman
So,
right now.
so what happened? So in that date, in that moment, I realized, oh shit, मेरे गलती से मुंह से निकल गया. I was also after a very long breakup, मतलब relationship, I got back to the whole dating scene. तो मेरे मुंह से निकल गया कि मुझे बच्चे नहीं चाहिए.
Oh,
And she was so sure कि उसे 2 चाहिए. Right?
Oh.
And I think that is the
Average one.
and I think that is the reason why क्या कहते हैं, that thing tanked and she's like, हाँ ठीक है. We met, we're still kind of friends. I'm wanting her to become my co-founder in a different venture.
Right,
But,
yeah. We will
so
talk
what
about
she,
it
but
someday.
what she's done eventually, I should have probably said yes to the whole 2 kids thing because now she's got 2 puppies. She's the mother to 2 puppies now. I said shit.
I think, see, you guys could have figured it out.
Yeah,
but
man,
anyway.
but that happens.
Hmm.
So that's one of my quirky date stories. Any bit more you have? Or do you have any horrendous stories that you've heard from friends or something like that? Because I have 2 such stories that women have told me.
Oh my god, are we going there?
No, not like that, but we have to tell our listeners क्या होता है. Like a lot of people, when I tell them, especially in tier 2 cities, like places like even Kolkata, they don't believe shit like this can happen.
हाँ, they don't. I think उस हिसाब से metros में weird shit happens, right? And yeah, we do have stories. So horrendous stories में नहीं आ रहा. I think I can only remember just this one. Others have been like okay, they're like not good, not bad.
But why are you single then, Sani?
Yeah, people keep asking me this question. Like,
Yeah.
why are you single?
Why are you single then?
What is up with you? Yeah, men and friends and family keep joking about this. They are like, I have this thing where at the risk of sounding very Gen Z, okay, I am a millennial and I'm happy to be a millennial, but at the risk of sounding very Gen Z, I would say, यार मेरे लिए vibe match होनी बहुत important है. And I don't know what it is, but मेरी vibe ही match नहीं होती है with maximum people, ठीक है? So if I feel that connect, I am going to take things forward or whatever, but नहीं vibe match हो रही है यार, and अगर vibe match हो रही है, then maybe goals don't align and all of that is happening. So it's not like I'm not trying. So at this point in my life, I am open. If this was the previous version of me, I would have been like, okay, done. I am good. I am happy being single. Let me not even try. But I am trying to put myself out there, and I have changed that about myself. And I think I'm learning a lot from this experience, like I said earlier. But yeah, I don't think I have found the one, because at this stage in my life, and always, I'm a hopeless romantic. So I am literally looking for the one.
Okay, so this is what I will tell people. Like, this is a popular term that a lot of people use, hopeless romantic. I now correct everybody and tell कि मैं एक hopeful romantic हूँ.
Yeah, we should, right? We are already attaching a negative correlation to it, like hopeless.
I'm a hopeful. I'm always hopeful about. यार कोई बात नहीं, अभी life बर्बाद है, but कोई ना कोई तो आ ही जाएगी.
And right, and I think life is nothing. If there is no hope, there is no life. That is what I keep saying. Also, we are all literally living on hope. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the 2 stories that I want to tell you. One I want to tell you is very simple. I met this girl on a dating app only, and then it was the first time I matched with her. So I matched with her, and then we spoke and we met, and I'd forgotten. And then a few months later, I matched with her again, and she's like, "Don't you remember me?" I'm like, "Don't you remember
Swipe
me?"
culture. This is what when I say swipe culture. Literally.
So I'm like, "Oh, acha,
ये तो
yes,
तू है. अच्छा, हाँ, मैं ही हूँ. Oh, okay. We met
I
before.
felt so embarrassed. Yeah,
You should.
in my defense, listen, in my graduation 3rd year तक I was like,
Was the name pretty common?
नहीं ये लड़का भी मेरी क्लास में था. So I'm very bad with names, and that's why I think one of the reasons why I can't get into politics is because I can't remember names. I can't.
You'll have people for that, no? Then.
हाँ, but
What?
you have to. फिर बाइडेन की तरह कुछ और गलत बोल दिया, बर्बादी हो जाएगी.
नहीं, you'll have people. People will write speeches for you. बड़ा सोचो, what?
Speeches नहीं ना. अरे आपको networking करनी पड़ती है ना वहाँ पे, तो फिर अगर भूल गए hello आपका नाम क्या है, and half the time it happens.
So you'll have like a PS there standing there. Sir, ये नहीं है नाम है. He'll keep कहीं और.
But I think with AI coming in, I think that will become easier. But anyway, so I met her for the second time, and we went to Blue Tokai again. I don't like the coffee there.
What? I was about to say excellent coffee.
Yeah. Not my.
They don't have a lot of options, but yeah, excellent coffee.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are coffee lovers, so we are going to talk about
So she told
coffee.
me that I asked her, how have you been? What's happening? So she said, I went on this horrible date. I said, what happened? So she's like, I went out with this guy, and I will not say what caste, creed, whatever.
No.
But so they went on a date. They're in CP, middle of the date, afternoon. The guy pulls out a gun and says, फटाफट खा, बोर कर रही है, जा यहाँ से.
Oh my God, no! This is why Delhi बंद नाम है, तुम्हें पता है? Like यहाँ पे people यहाँ पे अच्छे लोग भी हैं, ठीक है? And my parents, if you are listening to this, यार, you are scaring them more right now because यहाँ पे, see, I've been living outside of my home since I was 17. I'm very independent and that way I like love doing this.
Yeah.
But since I moved to Delhi, they are literally like, "Beta, time se घर आ जाना. What are you doing? It's 10. Why are you not at home yet?" So yeah, Delhi इसके लिए बहुत बदनाम, and I'm actually sorry that she had to go through this, and I cannot even imagine. This is what makes it really tough to meet people, right? And basically,
But that is why I also feel that, you know, and a lot of women say that it's not safe and all that. I think online dating is the safest thing a girl can anyway do, right? Because you don't have to meet the guy. You can actually extensively talk to somebody, understand their psyche, you know, test their patience. You can do a lot kya kehte hai, by being, you know, far away. Maybe you take that step further, you talk to them on the phone call and then, or maybe a video call, and then meet them kya kehte hai, in a place which you will not be threatened at. And definitely I would suggest women not to go, unless you're like super sure of the guy, do not go on late night dates with anyone because
don't, yeah, seriously.
so, but otherwise, yeah. I have another story which I don't know if it's going to be feasible to be said on a public platform, but
oh yeah, I think I already know this one.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think the details are horrendous, literally, to say the least.
Yes.
I don't think we can discuss that, but yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So stuff like that happens in our country. So, वही तो मेरे को लगता है यार कि sometimes ex of mine, she told me, Auric, why don't you be a little manipulative with your, dating profile? And you write, I will craft this dating profile for you, and then you will get better matches or more matches, right?
Okay.
And I said,
what was this?
I don't know. I said, why would I do it in the first place, right? Like, if I come off as being dishonest, if I'm manipulating for whatever reason, that manipulation goes away, or if the parda anyways unveils and then
it will unveil at some point.
तो फिर आपको लगेगा कि यार बर्बादी हुई, they will anyways leave you.
Right.
But exactly. I am also trying to understand, why do we care about nicety, all the nice things? Ki bhai, by textbook, you will anyways be writing the best thing. You will be putting your best photos.
I know.
How do you trust a person? So you will have to, I think women have to, have a very strong filtering mechanism. कि भाई बढ़िया बातें तो बहुत लोग कर लेते हैं, but consistently देखो ना बढ़िया बातें.
Oh my god, and even यार this is touching a nerve, but still बढ़िया बातें तो बहुत कर लेते हैं, right? This is what we really need to understand, because see, ये काफी, and again मुझे नहीं पता ये कि opposite ये चीज होती है नहीं, but me being a woman, I can say that from my perspective, लड़कियों को अच्छा लगता है यार अगर आप उनसे प्यार से बात करो, स्वीटली बात करो, give them some respect, flirt a little bit, but still. Okay, that is, people, you will have my whole heart if you bring me Starbucks, okay? That is how simple of a human being I am. But anyway, you bring me Starbucks, you feed me gelato, and I'll be like, you are my best friend from now on. But anyway, yeah, so...
Guys, I want to tell you, this is how I convinced her to do the podcast.
Yeah, he bribed me with a venti Starbucks again. So, this is how we have started. But anyway, coming back to the point, where were we?
I don't know, you were saying something about women.
Yeah, so हमें अच्छी बातें सुननी अच्छी लगती है, right? So, and this has also happened to me in the past. This guy that I was in a relationship with, one of my exes, he was such a sweet talker. Oh my god, like you would feel like you are in an SRK movie, okay? He would do all of the things right and speak very nicely and all of that. But that was obviously all it is a strong statement, but yeah, that was obviously all a lie, because भाई वो जो पर्दा हटने वाली बात होती है, right? That unveiling, when that happened, it was like that guy actually got not exactly bored of me. He got tired of putting in those efforts, because those efforts were not genuine to begin with. So after like 10-12 months, when he could not put up that act anymore, he was like, I am done, I am leaving, literally. So that is what I'm trying to say, right? लोग impress करने के लिए they try to put on this false पर्दा कि यार मैं ऐसा हूँ, they'll do, so consistency, right? And I have been an advocate of this कि look for efforts and look for consistency in effort. So ये सारी चीजें उसने की, but यहाँ पे वो चीज आ गई कि those things were being done to impress the woman, and that was not who he actually was as a human being.
Right.
So that is where I think it becomes tough. So we can have the strongest of filtering mechanisms, which we should, but at the same time, यार अगर धोखा होना लिखा होगा तो it will still happen,
okay,
right?
So what I say to this is, if you are very straightforward, see, let me give you an analogy. नदी जब बहती है, right? So what happens is that if the force is too strong and the rock is weak, right? It crushes through the rock and then passes and makes a way for itself, right? Versus when the rock is very strong, no matter how strong the force of the water, it has to take a bypass and it actually goes around it, right? So I think if you want a guy to be genuine and show those consistencies and all of those things, then you also have to be a rock in the first place, right? You have to be very sure of who you want, what you want, and reflect that in your actions and tell him कि मेरे को ये चाहिए. I am so sorted in my head. I know what I want. Like a lot of people also get into the dating apps without knowing. A lot of people still have baggage कि यार मेरा रिश्ता अभी टूटा है and they're thinking about their previous things.
That never works.
So anyway, I have a story as well, but I want to tell you something, but I forgot. But anyway, the whole so yeah, very interesting story. I went on this date. Third date with this woman, and she's very nice and all of that. She was in a long-term relationship for 4 years, and the guy used to only come once in a while, and then was not giving commitment. I think commitment is one bit that we'll talk about in extensive way on the podcast. That is becoming a thing. But so third date, so बढ़िया चल रहा है, सब चल रहा है. Third date हो गया है. She's a very nice girl. I really like her. So, and also I don't drink or I don't enjoy drinking as much, but I would do that with my partner or for somebody. So she's like, I have this thing that I want to test a guy while drinking. So that's why I want to drink with a guy कि भाई सच निकलेगा या जो भी है.
यार, okay, please. यहाँ पे ना मैं थोड़ा लोगों को बोलना चाहती हूँ, I have also been told this thing कि यार I want to let's meet for so and we'll go out for drinks, and I'm like, yeah, we can go out for a nice dinner. I'll maybe have a drink or two, and then that's that. And then they're like, nee, we'll go drinking. And I'm like, see, I'm meeting you for like maybe the second, third, whatever, first, second time. I'm not comfortable drinking with you, right? I would do that only with the closest of my people.
Right.
And not with anybody and everybody, right?
Right.
So, anyway, then this, and I was like, why are you insisting so much, right? Because then it comes off a little bit creepy, and I think he understood.
Obviously,
he was like, नहीं, मेरे वो intention नहीं है, but he said, and I don't know क्या थे या क्या नहीं थे. I was creeped out by the way, so that date, by the way, never happened. Anyway, so I asked, I was like, why are you insisting on this? And the guy said the same thing. He's like, I want to test you, when you're down a couple of pegs, who are you as a person? मैंने कहा देख भाई, I am a very open and direct person, so what you see is what you get. It is as simple as that. तू मेरे से अभी sober होके पूछ ले, तू मेरे से 4 पेग बाद पूछ ले, you are going to get the same answer. Mostly you are going to get maybe like a more fun version of me, but I am already fun. I don't need
but this could also be an indicator in the way that if a guy or a girl is expecting कि भाई वो अपने सही रंग दिखाएगा क्या कहते हैं दारू पीने के बाद, maybe they also are like that. They may be holding up a lot of stuff. Maybe they are like that, huh? Because I am, like you also said, right? You are an honest, open person. I am an honest and open person. I'm like, यार तू मेरे से ऐसे directly पूछ ले, I'll answer whatever you want, right? As long as it is within a set boundary, I'm going to answer it. So I don't need like a couple of pegs for that. You can, and he's like, oh, I do not know, and I actually appreciate that you are such an honest person. I do this like a test, like you said. And I was like, oh, okay, weird, because this whole thing is very weird to me. यार नहीं दारू के बाद लोग सच बोलते हैं. I'm like, please don't judge people after their inhibitions have gone. Because that is when I think you are also supposed to maybe mess up a little bit, or don't judge me on the basis of what that is not going to be your constant state anyway.
Exactly, right? Because you're not going to always have me with alcohol, right?
Exactly.
So बिना alcohol के normally मैं कैसे होती हूँ, but हाँ, so there.
So I'll continue. So the thing is that, okay. Sidetrack. So a lot of women have told me, "Arik, it's a good thing that you don't drink. I don't want somebody who drinks and smokes." I'm like, ठीक है. ऐसा नहीं कि मैंने drink नहीं किया, but I choose not to. ऐसा भी नहीं कि मैं पी नहीं सकता. So anyway, so 2 women have outright in Delhi told me कि you don't drink. That's an issue. I said, is that a deal breaker? And they said yes, क्योंकि हमें पीना पसंद है. हमें अपने partner के साथ पीना है.
So no, that
we respect that.
Yeah, that is understandable.
So this woman के साथ बात क्या हुई? तो इसने मेरे को बोला कि पीना है, तो ऐसे चलो ठीक है. If that is what you want, चलो आपके साथ I'll go have a couple of beers and all of that. So I went out drinking with her. So the thing happened, nothing to do with alcohol or conversation. What happened, and I think she got mad at me for that, is I said, what kind of a guy are you looking for, right? So she's like, अच्छा होना चाहिए, singer, because there was a live performance happening. He's like, singer होना चाहिए. ठीक है?
He's like, ask that dude out, and he's singer.
And he said, ये होना चाहिए, वो होना चाहिए. And I by the time she went to the washroom, and I wrote a like little thing, because I write sometimes. So I wrote, she wants a singer, but what if he does not sing to her?
Oh my God, yes.
You want somebody who is dependable, but क्या कहते हैं, you can't depend on him
when you need him, or something like that.
Right. No, something like that. So I wrote in that, and this was, and I'll
I
tell you
would
why,
have to read that, by the way.
yeah, I have written that down. But the thing is, why she got mad also because we were holding this conversation, right? Pehle. So she's like, मेरे को a lot of women say, शिव जी जैसा पति चाहिए, right? And I have a problem with that, right? Two things.
What do they mean by that? I'm not a religious person.
No,
so I
not
don't
not a
know.
religious person, but generally Shivji is very calm, composed, loving, like.
But he also got extremely angry,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
He had anger
So
issues.
the issue why they want him is because he's Bholenath and he's very nice and calm and composed, and because of the whole Sati story that he lost Sati as a क्या कहते हैं, wife, and he waited eons to क्या कहते हैं, find
Oh
Parvati.
yeah, right.
He
Yeah.
wept for eons and क्या कहते हैं, was very sad and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like वैसा वाला पति चाहिए, right? But
Right.
what people fail to understand, there are always multiple facets to a person, right? So if and person तो छोड़ो God में भी हो ही रहा है, like ऐसा बोला जाता है. So the thing is that I say that शिवजी भोलेनाथ है, सब है, उनका रुद्र रूप भी तो है, वो तांडव भी तो करते हैं.
Yes.
Are you Parvati enough in the first place to have a Shiv?
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So I've had this conversation with a lot of women. In fact, I met this woman, she's a friend. She says ki now I'm first trying to become what I want to attract, right?
Oh my god, this is such an important lesson literally right here, and I want to highlight this. Become who you want to attract. First become that person and then expect that. And that is how I think you attract good things in your life.
Absolutely.
First you have to setting standards is a good thing.
Yep.
First set those standards for yourself. Do that. If you want a kind human being, be a kind human being first. And then you can be like, yeah, I know who I am. I am a kind person. I would expect this person to also be kind.
So I just want to get your perspective on it, and maybe the listeners can also write it down to us. So I think the reason, so she said, Auric, you are writing such pessimistic things. I told you the things, positive things that I want in a person. I said, this is just another perspective. Also in continuation to the conversation that we were having about Shiv Parvati, right? That just because you want something, is that right for you in the first place or not?
Yeah. Also, I think, like we discussed about Shivji, and please, I do not want to get into the whole religion thing because that is very sensitive to people. But what I'm trying to say is every person has good and bad, right? You have to consider the person as a whole and not just expect कि यार इसमें तो ये अच्छी characteristics होंगी, वो अच्छी characteristics होनी चाहिए. But are you also ready to handle them on the bad days? You have to be if you want to be in a long-term relationship.
So what happened after this? So she did not. She said, "I don't want to meet you again." And just for this thing, I'm just giving you a different perspective on something.
Right.
And then she's like, "I don't want to meet you." Otherwise, she's a wonderful girl. She was like matching with. She was talking and we vibed a lot, right? But then I was like, "ठीक है." So.
Right. No. Also, ये एक और topic है कि many people in general they can't accept a different perspective from the ones they already hold in their head, right? So having your own perspective is fine, and you should have your own perspectives. But as long as there is a healthy debate or a healthy communication going on, I think you should be open to listening to other people's ideas. It is up to yourself to accept them or not accept them, right? That is always up to you. But don't get offended or try not to take things way too personally if they are not said in a personal
But what I think is also happening, दूसरों का पर्सपेक्टिव समझना तो दूर की बात है, लोग दूसरे का पर्सपेक्टिव सुनना भी नहीं चाहते if it is the other way around, right? Like if it's a like a conversation which is not agreeable to them, they don't even want to sit and listen to somebody.
I know.
Understand तो भूल ही जाओ कि putting yourself in their shoes, तो वो तो कर ही नहीं रहे.
I think that has also got a little to do with egos, right? We as individuals have most people have a lot of ego. They're like, मैं ये सोच रहा हूँ, मैं ये सोच रही हूँ, तो मैं ही सही हूँ. How can someone have a different viewpoint? How can this be challenging to me? And they're like, no, I need a herd. I need people to follow me. But that is not, I don't think that is a healthy way. How would you grow, right?
Absolutely. But, so the other thing I also want to say is that this behavior exactly that everything was going fine. 3 dates हो गए, मैंने दारू भी पी ली. I am the most gentlemanly person. मैं तो dates पे हाथ भी नहीं पकड़ता कि भाई we'll get to that point अगर तो both of us feel that way कि भाई जबरदस्ती हाथ पकड़ने क्या फायदा है, right? All of that. So the thing is, I want to bring in that like the word toxicity also, right? Like I will not call this a toxic behavior, but it's just that sometimes
that is a strong word.
No. So why I'm bringing this up is because sometimes we say that this person is toxic, whereas we might not be comfortable with those attributes. But that person might not actually be toxic.
Right. So maybe some characteristics of some person are not. See, and I always say this, कि just because 2 people, ऐसा भी हो सकता है that 2 people are excellent individuals individually, but they just don't mesh well together. So in a relationship together, they might also end up quote unquote be toxic to each other, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think a person himself or herself or themselves are toxic. I think sometimes the how that relationship works out or pans out, that sometimes becomes toxic, and that is not a good thing. That doesn't necessarily mean that a person themselves
Yeah.
is toxic.
So
in
why
most cases.
I brought this up is, and what happened with me on that drinking date wala thing is that I realized that maybe I made a mistake, right? Maybe she didn't want to hear that perspective, which is fine, which is all right. But why are you so open to judging me and not wanting to meet me again? Like sometimes it also happens on, let's say, while you're chatting with somebody on the dating app, right? Like इस बंदे ने आज चार अच्छी बातें नहीं करी है, he's not saying the right thing, whereas four other people are saying the right thing. Maybe that day is his bad day. Maybe he's not in the mood for a conversation. Maybe you caught him off guard or whatever else, right?
But
We are
you
too
know
quick
what?
to judge.
Yeah, we are too quick to judge. But you know, another thing that I want to put here, that is where communication also comes in, right? So if I am having a bad day and if someone on these apps or whatever, they are trying to have a conversation with me, I would upfront say, today is a very bad day for me. So you have been warned. If I say something, or if, again, you can't pass off bad things, like I am not mean to them, but then I'm not my best version either, right? So I just give that as a disclaimer. I'm like, you are not getting the best version of me today. This is a bad day.
But I want to bring something up here is because women have a privilege, right? Try to understand on a dating scenario, women have the upper hand any which way, right? Because you're getting way more matches than guys do. One second, I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you why. Because while you would say that to any guy for that matter, right? He will still be considered क्योंकि लड़की है तो वो उसको वो space देगा, right? Whereas
for how many days?
Yeah, but the girl will still not do this for a guy because she's being bombarded with other nice messages from every other guy, right? Try to understand the equation actually changes depending on if you're a guy or a girl.
Yeah, maybe I can understand.
Right? For example, if a guy said, "Oh, look, I'm having a bad day," maybe there are four other guys saying nice things to you. You're definitely not gonna give a shit about him.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense, and I think you are the third, fourth friend जिससे मैं बात कर रही हूँ, and guys have this thing where they're like, yeah, we don't get as many matches as you girls do, and you guys actually think that. And see, हमारा क्या होता है? I agree, we do get a lot of matches in terms of numbers, but not all of those are quality matches. There are many creeps out there. There are many all of those things, right? So there are very few people who are actually up to the level ki we'll be like, okay, let me go ahead and maybe meet this guy, okay? So most of those messages are not really well intended also. So yes, we do get a lot of haze, highs, creepy DMs and all of that, but not a lot of it is substantial enough for us to move forward with it. So kahin na kahin we also have less, in the end we also don't have as many options as it may seem.
But this is the whole point, right? Why does a guy have to say something really outstanding in his first few messages, and why is hey not enough? Why aren't you guys giving him a chance in the first place? कि बात करके तो देखते हैं इंसान कैसा है.
I don't know how many hays would I be replying to. That could be a whole potential.
That is the whole point. How many hays would you be replying to? That is where I want to bring the whole point of women thinking.
Okay, अच्छा मुझे ये भी चीज पूछनी है. So actually, guys don't get any haze or highs in your like other DMs in Instagram.
Not at all, Twitter. Man. If guys are that privileged, unless he's an eye candy for sure.
Then I think उसे आते होंगे, right?
But like what, I'm sure the story that you said, the Starbucks में बंदे को देखा या Blue Tokai में देखा है, अब Blue Tokai में देखा है, उसको क्या कहते हैं जाके नंबर दिया या whatever. A lot of people will be like, अच्छा इंडिया में ऐसा भी होता है, ऐसे भी होता है.
And I'm like, oh, even I was like, am I like breaking the norms here? Yeah, I'm doing something.
No, so the thing is that I will also want to bring one more point is girls think यार लड़के तो क्या कहते हैं बायो पढ़ते ही नहीं है तो फिर हम लिखें क्यों, लाइक बहुत
लिखती है लड़कियां
लिखती हैं और मैं क्या कहते हैं बेवकूफ हूँ कि मेरे को पता है कि राइट स्वाइप करके कुछ होने नहीं वाला, तो इसलिए मैं पढ़ के कहते हैं राइट स्वाइप इसलिए करता हूँ कि बाय चांस क्योंकि इसने अच्छी चीजें लिखी हैं, आई नो शी इज माय काइंड ऑफ वुमन प्रॉब्ली, देन शी विल एक्चुअली केयर फॉर माय प्रोफाइल, इसलिए मैं पढ़ता हूँ, राइट? बट ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड most of the guys they swipe continuously right is one reason why, because for every match, every time you swipe right, you are getting a match. A guy has to wait for at least 100 tries, 200 tries, sometimes 1500 times.
I did not know that or think from that.
So the matching ratio in the US is 1 to 1500.
Oh my god!
That ratio in India would be much higher.
You are trying to say कि for every one match, like a woman has like 1500 options versus a guy would have one.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, for example, let's take Tinder for example, and Tinder is, I don't use Tinder because that's a very basic hookup wala thing, which is not. But I'll give you an example of Tinder. Why? Because or Tinder or any other app that I don't know of. they have a cap on how many likes you can send, right?
Oh, okay.
So if you're not a paid member, you swipe 100 times and you're done. Most of the times you do not get a match.
Oh,
right.
Interesting business model.
Yeah, very interesting. So you will not. So all the 100 girls that he swiped, he's not gotten a match. Whereas you are swiping and you're getting almost.
Yeah.
If you're even an average-looking woman in India, you will definitely get all the freaking likes.
I agree.
Right? So there is a divide, and women have to understand that they hold the power. But I will also say, थोड़ा विनम्र हो जाओ. Hey, hi, वालों को भी एक बार मौका दे दो. Maybe they and also.
Now I'm going to go reply to all the
not all
people. You have 24 hours.
No. So even if it's a hey hi वाला thing, right? उसके बाद consecutive conversation क्या होता है? You can still hold the narrative and check कि भाई क्या बातें कर रहे हैं, right?
Obviously.
Because एक तरफ तो आप बोलते हैं मेरे को authenticity और honesty चाहिए. भाई वो क्या कहते हैं बढ़ चढ़ के तुम्हें पटाने के लिए तुमसे response लेने के लिए बढ़िया चीजें लिख रहा है और फिर you're falling for that thing.
हाँ, right. I agree. ये तो फिर like we are feeding into the problem, right? But yeah, interesting. हाँ, that is an interesting perspective. I am, by the way, now going to reply to all the people flood my DMs. And you know, by the way, I have done this before. A couple of hays and highs, which maybe had just a normal one line, and they're like, we really liked your profile, cool profile. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. But then, I don't know, maybe they're intimidated or something. No one has replied after that. So, you know, कई बार हम मौका देते भी हैं, but हर बार हमें आगे, they are not up for holding a conversation. I'm like, okay,
but then, देखो, ये anti-chivalry वाली बात यहाँ पे भी आ जाती है. Imagine if you like the person's profile, or maybe let's say if you're on let's say Instagram, or let's say for that matter X, which was previously Twitter.
Oh my God.
So the thing is, अगर आपको उसका profile या उसके क्या कहते हैं, let's say tweets अच्छे लगे या आप उसने बढ़िया बातें लिखी थी, right? Because now you're judging that person on those attributes, give him a chance and you ask something about him also. That's what I'm saying. If you as a forward woman or a very क्या कहते हैं outstanding and क्या कहते हैं open-minded woman, you can go and give a number to somebody. I think you can बढ़ चढ़ के ask them about, take a little bit of interest in your man that you want to date also, right?
So मैं तो at least I live by that when I say that. So in the past also, if I have liked someone, I have actually approached and I have told them that, you know what, I like you. Do you want to take this forward and all of that, right? So I have done that, and I don't like that whole concept where like men are supposed to be the people who ask you out first. I don't believe in that, and I went ahead and asked for this person's number, right? And मैं ये नहीं भी कर रही थी just because of, if I were an extrovert, not because of the woman-man thing. I was not doing it because I'm not that much of an extrovert. So for me, it's like that extrovert-introvert battle that goes on within me. उसके कारण, so I am always like, यार तुम्हें कोई पसंद है, don't wait around, right? You can also take that move. So I always say that to other people and I live by it. So मेरे साथ तो ऐसा होता है, अगर मुझे कोई पसंद है, even hays, highs, and if I have, for example, liked someone tweets, I'll be like, hey, I liked your tweets, and अगर मुझे कोई सामने से आता है, I'm like, by the way, you also have a really nice profile. I appreciated your humor or your sarcasm, whatever it was. So I live by it. So मैं तो approach करती हूँ, but कई बार, you know, सामने से भी वो response है, I'm like, okay, maybe this person is not interested.
And I think one of the reasons why most women don't do that or be too forward is because they then worry कि मेरे को judge कर लिया जाएगा. If I'm that forward, then मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ?
Oh my God, this is another issue, right? Which I think one of my friends back in college told me, and this surprised me to the core. So I have obviously always been this open person, right? Apparently, one or two people in my college had this narrative going on कि since she is so open or so forward, ये और क्या कर सकती है? And I was like, that is such a shit thing to say about a woman that you don't even know. Yeah. Just because I talk openly with you or I have like an open mind, that does not mean that I would be willing to do anything and everything, right? So me being a forward person was kind of taken against me. So that has happened to me in the past. But I'm like, okay, those are shit people with shit mentality. Them being like that is not going to change who I am as a person. So again, यहाँ पे I want to clarify. If as a woman or as a man, if somebody is being open, does not mean they are ready to do certain things with you, right? Don't take it that way.
So this is a disclaimer that I have to give to a lot of women these days when I talk to them. Ki like, look, I am very open-minded. I'm probably way too open-minded for this country. I feel
the same thing, you know. I've been told multiple times with some of my best friends. They are like, Sanya, tu US chale ja, India tere liye nahi hai. You are way progressive-minded for this country.
So when I say that I'm progressive and open-minded, तो पता क्या होता है? मेरे को disclaimer देना होता है. Just because I'm talking about about this. I don't have to take an action on that. Or maybe I don't want that. Sometimes, let's say, for example, if I'm discussing, let's say, sex, right, or sexual preferences, does not mean that I want to have sex with you, right? Don't say कि भाई just because sex की बातें कर रहा है तो उसको sex ही चाहिए होगा.
नहीं, but अच्छा ये भी मुझे एक disclaimer देना था. Please ये sexual बातें या whatever it is, build that comfort level because women, and you can't even blame us, right? You know there are creeps out there. So अगर हमसे कोई पहली 2-3-4 dates में ही ये बोल देता है तो we are like no. This is like a kind of like a spidey sense on हो जाते हैं, like no. So judge पहले. अगर if she's comfortable talking about it, then talk about it. But please wait for some time.
But okay, so I'll give you another thing. So I matched with this woman from क्या कहते हैं Punjab once, and she's like, आप पहले conversation में, and this was not even sexual. This was generally asking about something. She's like, आपने पहले hello hi क्यों नहीं करा? So we were texting. After that we got on a call. She's like, पहले फोन पे आप hello hi तो करते हो, pleasantries देते हो, right? And I मतलब बढ़कर के नहीं किया तो her expectation was that. तो मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि भाई sex में भी जब अगर मान लो कोई कुछ बातें कर रहा है, let's say there's a taboo topic, right? India is filled with taboo topics. Let's say sex is one of them, right? Now you also have to understand the context. If a guy is क्या कहते हैं talking about sex क्या कहते हैं from with a straight face and with the context of telling you about some perspective, right? Then he's not wanting to be sexual with you.
Right.
So
still,
you can't get mad when sex की बात होती है.
नहीं. Still, I would actually recommend don't because ये ना फिर वो this is kind of like not for the taboo, but again we have faced as women, most of us have faced so many creeps in our life कि we'll be like okay, not talking to this person again because हमारे अंदर का फिर that self preservation mechanism literally switches on and we are like no. What if this guy has the wrong intentions? Because that is a huge thing.
So we will discuss this on our social media and online dating wala thing again. But this is today. I just want to bring on this point is a lot of women क्या कहते हैं after a guy is not up to the mark or whatever, they ghost them or they don't meet them ever again कि भाई नहीं करना, right? And they give a very invalid reason as to why they don't want to talk, right? I think a very important, like you were asking कि लड़कों को क्या चाहिए, what can we do for guys? I think be very direct and tell them, give them a feedback, right? I'll tell you why it is important. Indian men do not communicate with each other about feelings and emotions because they'll be brand कि तू लड़की है क्या, तू कैसा सोच रहा है, तू पागल है क्या तेरे को. So that stigma is there कि guys can't talk about emotions and things with other guys, right? The only time a guy is evolved is either they've had a very good girl best friend, they've had a very good girlfriend in their lives who's taught them a lot, or maybe they are always क्या कहते हैं been progressive or they've learned from their mistakes, right? These are the only 3 scenarios. We don't get feedback. So even if you don't want to, let's say, talk to the guy who just sent you hey, or if you don't like a guy for whatever he said, give him a feedback. If you don't give him a feedback, he's going to do that to 1,500 other women and be like, okay, somebody will appreciate it. So
right.
Somebody has to train them also, right?
Right, true. And then again, I think that is a different topic. You're not supposed to teach people, but I agree. At the same time, exactly. Yeah. You can definitely give there has to be that feedback loop. Otherwise, they will never know. I totally get your point. उन्हें नहीं पता वो क्या गलत कर रहे हैं and we are continuously in the cycle कि यार कोई सही करने वाला नहीं मिल रहा है. And then we are just, it's like an endless road. But
interesting. We spoke about for 1 hour 6 minutes.
Yeah. Interesting. But would you like to say something as like an ending note or something?
Yeah, so guys, we are trying to bring this podcast to have socialistic conversations about how men and women perceive certain things, and Love Sukh and Dhoka is all about understanding the intricacies of how to behave around relationships, because after money the most important quintessential thing that people want is either love, sex, or emotions or whatever those things are, right? And because if we don't talk about them, I don't think a lot of people are going to get sensitized to those things. So that's why we need to be very open and direct, and that's why we are having this conversation. If you have any feedback, because this is our first episode again on the audio platform, so if you have any feedback, if you want us to talk about certain things, you can definitely tell us and give us individual feedbacks. गाली मत देना, नहीं दे सकते हो.
नहीं बिल्कुल मत देना. I'm going to block and report the hell out of you. Don't.
And in certain cases, we will also sue you. So.
My friend here has connections. Anyway, I was just kidding, but don't. Do not test my patience. You are going to get a hell lot of sarcasm, which I am sure you won't be able to understand or handle. But anyway.
And do we by any chance want to give our social media handles out just in case people want to reach out to us?
No, I think we can do that.
After a
maybe
few episodes, we'll see
नहीं यार खुद तो optimism
कौन से treat
रखो
तुम्हारा
यार
audio सुनता है?
खुद नहीं यार खुद तो optimism रखो. People will listen to it or don't listen to it. See यार anything that I have ever done in life, if it feels right, it feels right, and this
Okay.
feels right, and this conversation, it needs to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't care if 2 people listen to it, 3 people listen to it. Those 3 people matter.
We had a
to
blast
me.
talking about
Yeah,
it.
we had a blast talking about it, and kuch nahi yaar, if for nothing, this is for like me, right? This is for
Right.
us. So anyway, I think we'll do that. Maybe we'll put it down below somewhere in the comments or somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll just leave our social media
Absolutely.
handles, I think.
Also,
Yeah,
guys, we'll talk about a
uh,
lot of topics like toxicity, expectations,
Yeah, we have a lot more coming
how to
up.
filter people out, what to say, not to say, should you be manipulative, not be manipulative.
No, please don't.
Now, listen, again, I have
We
a
continue.
contention on that word because words are not wrong.
Right. We'll talk about it later, I think.
Right. Anyway, so thank you so
Uh-huh.
much for listening, people.